I'd like to invite on stage two of our chamber members, Guilherme Carreiro from Oxy Capital and Michael Maxwell from SunCap Visa. Gentlemen, if you could join me on stage. Yeah, if you just sit there. We need one microphone. That's perfect. Okay, just test this. Okay, I'm sure it's working. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So, Tanya is still here if we have any specific issues, but she's already explained it to us. Guilherme is here from Oxy Capital and Michael Maxwell from SunCap Visa. Now, first of all, I'd like to start with our friend Guilherme from Oxy Capital. Tell us, Guilherme, what is Oxy Capital? Why did I invite you there? What is it?
Great. So first of all, thank you so much for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, so Oxy Capital, we are the largest private equity in Portugal. We manage over 1.4 billion. We started in 2012. And with the majority of our investors are foundations from the United States, the European Central Bank, 90% of the banking sector in Portugal in several family offices. And recently, since 2021, we started also on the Golden Visa. For now, it's still of the 1.4 billion, it's still roughly 60 million, but it's something that's going to continue. And this is a way for you to get the Golden Visa, invest in one of our funds. As of now, we have 3 funds eligible for Golden Visa, and we will be having soon 2 more, but in different strategies, both in private equity, something that we have been working on private equity since 2014, with quite interesting returns. One in public equities, and another in debt. With a debt strategy.
Okay, so just to clarify, the reason why we invited you out here is because, as Tanya was explaining, if you're interested in the investment, residency by investment visa, i.e. these golden visas, which means you don't need to be in Portugal 183 days a year, but you still have access to all of Europe and travel. One of the most popular ways to get those visas is investing a certain amount of money into qualifying private equity funds in Portugal. Oxy Capital is Portugal's largest fund manager.
Exactly.
Of many funds that have you created, but 4 of them currently qualify under this Golden Visa program. Just to clarify again, how much does somebody need to invest in investment funds in Portugal in order to get this Golden Visa?
Yes, so you must invest €500,000.
Yeah, €500,000.
Exactly, euros, but you can actually diversify into funds. So, for example, in our case, our funds, the minimum investment is 100K, so you can diversify in any of our funds. And actually, our funds are not only for Golden Visa. So, for example, in most of our funds, we also invest the managing company and the team, and we have other anchor investors also.
Okay. And of the 3 funds that are currently eligible for Golden Visa investments, tell me the profile of each of the 3 funds. What do each of the 3 funds do?
Yeah, so we have one on the public equities. That's for it to be eligible for Golden Visa, we invest 60% on the largest companies in Portugal that are listed on the stock market, and in some bonds to have a stable return. And 40% of the fund invests international exposure together with our other funds on the public equity side that have a lot of family offices and pension funds as investors, and even ourselves. This is the first fund. Second fund, it's a debt fund, so focusing on loans at a fixed rate to Portuguese companies, small and medium enterprises, with a stable return for the investor, recurring return cash flow for the investor. And last but not least, our first fund on this area that currently has 45 million euros. It's focusing private equity, so acquisition and investing in small and medium companies in Portugal, and it has actually a state-owned bank investing 25 million euros from European Union funds. We invest 4 million, and the rest of the 45 million, it's Golden Visa and some private investors.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. If you could pass the microphone to our friend Michael. Now, Michael, you are working with a company here called SunCap Visa. They joined us obviously your colleague Mark was with us earlier this morning, but tell us a little bit about what SunCap Visa is doing and what's your involvement in the Golden Visa Fund space at the moment?
Okay, so I think it's important to note that I'm entirely independent of SunCap Visa. SunCap is an advisor to those seeking residency in Portugal, guiding them in the right direction and coordinating the affairs, pulling the strings between the chosen visa, the chosen investment, and the lawyers and any tax advice that's needed. I've been the recipient of clients they've introduced over the years and naturally started working quite closely with them as well as other introducers. And where I fit in is that I've recently launched an investment platform in Portugal, having spent 12 years in consulting. Subsequently formed a fund manager in Portugal as well. In fact, I advised and set up the first Golden Visa eligible fund back in 2017. Set up around another 7 and raised capital on 4. So the last 2 years, I led the capital raise on an investment platform eligible for a Golden Visa. We brought in around 120 million euros in 2 years, which, okay, for London is a small rock in a big ocean, but for Portugal, that's absolutely mammoth. And now, in using the sort of 15 years experience in Portugal that I've garnered throughout those various roles, I'm setting up an investment platform where
Yes, sorry, carry on.
The benchmark I've set myself is that to get on there, it's got to be different from anything else you've seen in Portugal. It needs a strong international brand ambassador, as well as an international investment partner. And luckily, so far, I've managed to line up people like John Smith, the ex-Springbok Rugby captain, as a brand ambassador, as well as groups like Azimut and London Capital as international investment partners.
So, Michael, it's clear, as we know, you did set up one of the very first Golden Visa compliant funds in Portugal, which invested in real estate. Now, the real estate option has shut down, but the Golden Visa compliant funds in Portugal now invest in all sorts of other things, equally business-friendly and transparent. You've got an overview of the market. How do you see the markets evolved? I mean, real estate used to be the focus, but there are now the Portuguese private equity market is becoming increasingly sophisticated because outside investors are now looking hard at the funds in order to get the Golden Visa.
Correct. I think now looking at the team involved in your preferred choice, their track record is more important than ever before. I think in the past, even the Golden Visa eligible funds were 80% in real estate. Now, obviously, track record in private equity is a big one. I'm finding fund managers have to be a little bit more creative and can leverage off existing networks to find truly unique and interesting opportunities. And it really comes down to diversifying your investment as well. And you're seeing the funds are carrying that through in what they're looking to do and what they're looking to achieve. And yeah, I suppose like anywhere before, I found people would often look at these funds thinking Golden Visa first, quality of investment second. And I'd see people making choices, choosing funds that if a visa wasn't attached, I mean, they wouldn't go near it. And I think now a fund has to stand for itself as a solid investment. That's the base, and the Golden Visa is the bonus, and you're feeling that switch in the market.
Yeah, which is due to the sophistication of the investors. They're not willing to, they're going to invest €500,000 in private equity in Portugal. They want some security. Correct. Exactly. Okay, you wouldn't mind passing back to, so, Guilherme, Oxy Capital is the largest fund manager in Portugal, but what is your view about the considerations that Golden Visa investors need to think about? I mean, you hope they choose Oxy Capital, but you're big enough not to mind if they go elsewhere. What do you think Golden Visa investors should be most concerned about?
Yes, I think picking up on something that Michael mentioned, I think the golden rule would be track record, track record, track record. Because there are a lot of new companies that, as Michael mentioned, if it was not for the Golden Visa, no one would invest because it would be they don't have confidence in the team, they don't have an institutional investor behind them, they don't have so they don't invest in their funds. So it's something that people have to look into. So I say track record in their past funds, and actually two things: their investor profile, meaning that if they're institutional investors or financial investors that know what they are doing and are not investing due to the Golden Visa and are investing purely for financial interest, and also if they invest in their funds, because if she puts the skin in the game, things will be easier.
Okay, wonderful. Last question for Michael. Michael, what would be your top piece of advice for anybody considering residency by investment, apart from coming to talk to you, hopefully? But what would be your top piece of advice? What lesson did you learn?
Don't rush. Take your time. Shop around. Speak to as many of the teams involved as possible. And go through someone who has maybe done a lot of that homework for you in advance. There are good intermediaries out there, like SunCap, for example, that would guide you in the right direction. Having done a lot of the homework for you, they've probably spoken to the 30 options that are out there, use their knowledge and experience to identify the top 10, and then drill down into that. An option you also have, of course, is not allocating all your capital with one fund.
Yeah, spread it.
There's always an opportunity to invest across 2 or 3 into different sectors. But I do like funds that Portugal was the most wonderful place. Delighted to live there. But at the best of times, it's a limited economy. So target funds that are also allocating up to 40% of their capital outside of Portugal. If you're allowed to do it, why not? It takes the quality of the investment from here to here. It gets you exposure to different markets, into different currencies. So those would be the main ones.
Wonderful. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for your insights. Thank you to our friend Guillaume from Oxy Capital, and also to our friend Michael Maxwell from SunCap Visa. Thank you very much indeed. If anybody wants to talk to either of them, they're on the stand next door. Thank you.